And what is up, everybody? PhantasmWolvez here, and I have here is a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster featuring characters that haven't been confirmed yet, with the likes of Gino, Paperboy, and much more. But I've also added some new characters that were announced according to the August 8th Direct, which I'm excited for, man. Like, I can't believe they added so many characters, which they just announced 5 new characters, with King K. Rool of Donkey Kong, Simon Belmont of Castlevania, and then we got 3 new Echo Fighters, with Victor Belmont of Castlevania, of course, and then you got Dark Samus and Chrom. And man, I'm just extremely excited for this game, man. I just can't wait anymore. Like, we only have 4 months away till the game releases, and there's just so many characters I want to play as, especially the veterans that have been announced to come back, ones that have been cut throughout previous games. So this game is definitely going to be the ultimate Smash Bros. And I'm just as super excited as everyone else is. But with that out of the way, be sure to like this video and be sure to subscribe for more content like this. And if you enjoy Super Smash Bros. And WWE games or any retro games, this is the channel for you. But with that out of the way, let's go. So I'm going to be talking about characters that haven't been confirmed yet, and these are just characters that I want to see make it into the game. So this is not the actual size roster that the actual game is saying, but I feel like this would be the good amount. Like at least 80 characters, because so far we got at least 73 characters so far. And man, I'm glad he added so many characters, and hopefully there's a bunch more. Which I believe Sakurai has stated that there's going to be a few more characters, especially the Echo Fighters. So let's talk about the first character, and that is Gino from Super Mario RPG. And I don't know much about that game, but seeing some footage about it and more about Gino has a good moveset and can definitely work out as his own character. And not only that, it has become a popular choice throughout the ballot. Even had its own Mii costume in the previous game, and I think it would stand out to be a unique character. And like the fact that it's owned by Square Enix, which we have a Square Enix character with Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, I think Gino's chances are a bit higher. So why not? So add Gino. So the next character we have is Paperboy. And this is also another popular Mario character, and I know, why so many Mario characters? We have Daisy, we don't need more, we don't need Waluigi, blah blah blah. Well, I could care less if they're gonna add more Mario characters, because, I mean, Mario is the face of Nintendo. So I feel like it wouldn't really matter at this point that they're gonna add so many Mario characters, and heck, we even have like 7 Fire Emblem characters, so at this point, it wouldn't really matter to me. It wouldn't. So, with Paperboy, I could see him have a unique moveset potential. The fact that he could transform to anything based off his paper abilities, from a paper airplane to a roll of paper, a boat, and heck, he even can use his hand move for most of his attacks, and maybe even face some unique attacks from his recent games, if he wants to. But Paperboy has become a unique success to Nintendo's history, so why not? And plus, I want to see Paperboy go at it against Mr. Game & Watch, so it'd be really awesome to see that. Now the next newcomer I want to talk about is an Echo Fighter for Diddy Kong, and that is Dixie Kong. Dixie Kong, at first, I thought she was going to be her own character, but seeing as how the Direct showed off Chrom against Roy, I could totally see Dixie Kong as an Echo Fighter for Diddy Kong, because Diddy Kong uses his tail for most of his attacks, while Dixie Kong uses her hair for most of her attacks. So, to me, that screams Echo Fighting. So, simple as that. And plus, she has been a popular face throughout the Donkey Kong franchise, especially with her recent appearances in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. So, I would love to see Dixie Kong. The next Echo Fighter I want to talk about is Impa for Sheik. And same with Dixie Kong, I could also see her as her own character too, but seeing as how she's a part of the Sheikah clan, I wouldn't mind her to be the Echo Fighter of Sheik, because it just screams Echo Fighter 2. But I would love to see her moveset represented as well from Hyrule Warriors, but seeing as how Koei Tecmo owns portion of Hyrule Warriors, I don't know how they're gonna incorporate it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But it'd be really nice to see that. But for a character model, I would love to base it around Hyrule Warriors or Skyward Sword. But Input has been appearing in almost every Zelda game as possible, being Zelda's bodyguard of sorts, while Link is on his own adventure. So, Input would be really cool to see. The next new character I want to talk about is the Decidueye, and I feel like this Pokemon could definitely be the full-on representative for the Gen 7 side of Pokemon. And I know there's a lot of considerations for Lycanroc and Incineroar, but I feel like the Decidueye is very popular in terms of being a welcome choice throughout the Generation 7 of Pokemon. And even though the Future Band leak said that Decidueye and Lycanroc cannot be a character, or will not be a character, I don't want to believe it just yet until we officially see the reveal of the Pokemon character itself, because I'd rather see it than just to believe what someone says. So that way I feel like something could actually be confirmed based on what we see in the trailers or even part of a direct. But I personally feel that the situation just fits in really well with the cast of characters, having a unique moveset, shooting arrows from its feathers, having unique air attacks, and heck, you can maybe even base it off of Pokemon Tournament if you want to, but I mean, the Decidueye would be really cool because it would be also a great, not only a grass type, but a ghost type. So that's how I feel about the Decidueye as a character. The next newcomer I want to talk about is Bandana Dee, who has been a kind of like the highly requested character next to King K. Rool and Ridley, in my opinion. And seeing as how Bandana Dee has been now known to be the fourth player of Kirby, alongside Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede, Bandana Dee has become now a main cast member throughout the Kirby franchise now, with the recent appearances of Star Allies, Return to Dreamland, I believe, Rainbow Curse, and much more. So I feel like Bandana Dee holds a prominence to the Kirby franchise now. And plus, it would have a unique moveset using a spear, which we don't have a character that's like that. So, Bandana Dee for Smash. Now the next newcomer we'll talk about is an Echo Fighter that most people don't talk about, and that is Medusa for Palutena. Like, I'm at a loss of words here, so forgive me guys. But Medusa would be a great character to see in Smash Bros, and we don't have that many villains that are female, which we have for Dark Samus now. And Medusa would just really be a unique character. Like, the stance and bottle would be great compared to Palutena, because in my opinion they're kind of similar in height and all that, despite how she is shown off to be a boss as a gigantic beast like Hades is. But also I've seen people consider Furity for Palutena, but in my opinion the model would be a bit too small. So I feel like with that case, I feel like Medusa would be that perfect candidate to be an Echo Fighter for Palutena. Kinda like how Dark Pit is for Pit. So for moves, instead of Heavenly Powers, I'll see Dark Powers. So I don't know how they would pull it off, but it'd be really great to see. And then we got is a newcomer of Excitebiker from the Excitebike game. And I know you guys are saying this in the comments already, or tell me this, is that he can't do much on a bike. Well, at this point, I don't think it matters now which character gets a unique moveset or not. Because seeing as how Duck Hunt got a unique moveset, along with the likes of Captain Falcon and Fox even, because those characters are not even like fighters that come out of the vehicle. Well, Captain Falcon and Fox specifically, but you get my point, because Captain Falcon and Fox never really shown off their moves until Super Smash Bros. Which I can honestly see that for the Excitebiker, and the Excitebike franchise has been kind of a nostalgic franchise throughout Nintendo's history, kind of like Duck Hunt, the Ice Climbers, and Punch Outs. But I can totally see it work. Like, imagine doing stunts, dropping oil slicks, using a stunt ramp just to kind of jump high with the character. So it'd be really cool to see, and that'd be really a standout character. And plus, the Excite Bike franchise has been represented not only as a nostalgic game, but also has been represented throughout Mario Kart 8 with its own stage and stuff. So I can understand why Excite Bike would get in if he was able to make it. And plus, it was even considered in Melee. But it was only because Sakurai couldn't figure out a moveset for Excite Bike, which led to the Ice Climbers coming in. But think about it, like the Villager is another character that people didn't think would have a great moveset because it's a peaceful type character. But it worked out for the previous game. So in my opinion, it just wouldn't really matter at this point. So even if it was like Moneta, for example, and you just come up with a unique moveset. Like Sakurai has done this in the past before, so we'll just see how he does with Excite Biker if he gets in. Now, the next character, I think at this point, I think this character could definitely get in because seeing as how Donkey Kong kind of referenced it in his King K. Rool trailer, how he's like laid down watching the TV and such, that's how Karate Joe is laying down. So Karate Joe has appeared in many various Rhythm Heaven games, being like kind of like the main person throughout Rhythm Heaven, and it'd be really cool to see because most of his attacks were just based on rhythm, of course. And I know people consider the chorus kids as an option too, but I feel like Karate Joe just fits the build for a character, and it looks like it could be a unique fighter, and it'd be kind of the definition for a WTF character with the Wii Fit trainer and such. So I would love to see that. I wouldn't mind it. Now we're on to third-party characters, and the first one is an Echo Fighter for Sonic, and that is Shadow the Hedgehog. And if you guys have watched my previous Wanted Wishlist video, I wanted to see Knuckles, Tails, or Shadow. Like, you know already, Knuckles is an assist trophy, so we won't likely see him, and I'm not sure about Tails at this point, because it's kind of like a mixed feeling for me if Tails could get in or not. Because seeing as how Shadow hasn't been seen throughout since the announcement of Smash Bros, we haven't seen Shadow since then. Like whether it be his assist trophy or anywhere else really. So I think at this point Shadow just screams Echo Fighter for Sonic, and I would love to see Shadow as his own fighter too. But at this point, I think this is probably now the only chance that Shadow could get in. But I don't know, like they could pull off a twist on a direct, for example. Like let's say we all thought that Shadow would be an Echo Fighter with Sonic, but appears out to be his own unique character. But I mean, seeing how it's Chrom, like I said, with Chrom and Roy, that could be the case with Shadow. Like he just only uses the spin dash. That's really the only move that could be really similar, and speed wise, they're about the same. And plus maybe even Super Shadow as a final smash. But he could use Chaos Blast, Chaos Spear, any moves you can really think of. So Shadow could definitely get in for Smash, and I'm thinking he's in at this point. So hold your horses, guys. Shadow could be in. Could be in. So the next Echo Fighter I want to talk about is also another third-party character, and that is none other than the original Echo, that is Ken Masters for Ryu of Street Fighter. And Ken Masters would definitely work as an Echo Fighter. Like he plays a lot like Ryu, and the only difference is he uses flame-based attacks, which could be like a flaming Hadouken, a flaming Shoryuken, something like that. So I think it just screams Echo Fighter to me at this point, and it just makes sense. Like I would love to see dream matches with Ryu and Ken against the Mario Brothers, or Sonic and Shadow if Shadow gets in. But you get my point. I think Ken just screams Echo Fighter. That's just simply the only reason why I think Ken could get in. And I originally thought it could be an Ultimate skin, but seeing as how Echo Fighter is being put out, with how Victor Belmont and Simon Belmont are together, I think that could be the case with Ken for Ryu. So, Ken Masters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And this one is not an Echo Fighter third-party character, but an original third-party character newcomer. And that is Rayman for the Ubisoft representation. And I know people want the Rabbids too, but Rayman is pretty much what started out for the Rabbids. And I see the fact that Rayman could be really a unique character, and plus seemed to be a considered character from the previous game for Super Smash Bros. Wii U and the 3DS. And Rayman has been popular on the Nintendo systems as of late, with Rayman Legends and Rayman, what the heck is that other game? I completely forgot what it was called now at this point, but I feel Rayman just fits in with the cast of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, it'd be unique, plus it has disembodied limbs, which we don't have that type of character in Smash Bros. Besides Sukapon as an assist trophy, of course. But my point is, Rayman just fits the cast of Super Smash Bros. And I would love to see him. Now, that is all my characters throughout the newcomer side of the main disc roster. Now, let's talk about characters that are DLC that I would love to see. Here we have is the Octoling through the Inklings. And I just totally see it work. Like, it really screams Echo Fighter. And I just feel like it wouldn't make it to on disc because it's so recent that I feel like it could be DLC. Like, I know people were thinking like, it's not gonna make it on disc or DLC because it's too recent and all that kind of stuff. Like, tell me why Link's Breath of the Wild title is in, and it's recent. So, you get my point. Like, I feel like anything that's recent should get in as DLC at this point, or somehow in shape or form on main disc, whether it be just an assist trophy or something else. But I feel like the Octoling just be a perfect fit for an Echo Fighter. So, I think it'd be a great DLC. Now, the next character I want to talk about is, it actually leads to characters on Nintendo characters that are kind of like recent characters. So we have here a Springman for the Orange franchise, and it'd be really cool to see because, like, we have an outstretched kind of like Little Mac, but more range. And it'd be cool to see a Ribbon through Echo Fighter 2, but I'm just gonna stick with Springman because he's considered to be the face of the Orange franchise. But seeing as how Orange kind of died out for the Switch, I mean, Orange is kind of a unique game. I'm like really excited for it. Like, I would love to see this character make it in. So at this point, I don't really see it as a main disc character because it's super recent to me. Although I haven't played Orange myself, I think I could see why an Orange character wouldn't be too likely as a main disc character. And also this guy, Vex and Pyra for Xenoblade Chronicles. And people say Elma could be a Xenoblade newcomer as well, which I can understand that too because although it's not recent, it's still a good viable choice for a Xenoblade character. But if Vex and Pyra were to somehow get in, I could totally see Vex and Pyra as a DLC character, or characters I should say. But my point is, it'd be really cool to see. And I feel like to me, for some odd reason, this is my opinion anyways, but I feel like Elma could be an assist trophy. That's just me. But now we're on to third-party DLC characters. And first we have is Crash Bandicoot, which I think would totally sell out very well, along with the other newcomers I'm about to mention. Because Crash Bandicoot is a character that has been the face of PlayStation over the years. Well, not over the years, like as in like a decade ago at least, I would say. And I gotta say, Crash Bandicoot would be really cool to see, and with its insane trilogy pointing to the Switch, I think it would make great sales as Crash Bandicoot becoming a newcomer for Smash Bros. And it has its own moveset. It just has its own moveset. Like, he has the Wumpa Fruit, he could do his splash attack, he could do his spinning attack, of course. The Uruba God Mask could follow him around. And I don't know, there's just so many things you can come up with for Crash Bandicoot. So, Crash Bandicoot for Smash. Probably DLC, but I'll be really surprised to see him as a main disc character. Then we have is Banjo and Kazooie, which I'll tell you that I never played Banjo and Kazooie myself, but seeing as how historic Banjo and Kazooie is to the Nintendo franchise, and also how Phil Spencer of the Microsoft company is stating that Banjo-Kazooie could be a character, which they're okay with it, so their chances might be a bit high. But I feel like a DLC character just would be really cool to see for Banjo-Kazooie, which I feel like would be really exciting to see too. Now, the last DLC character we want to talk about is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, and I would love to see this because, I mean, if Cloud can make it, why not Sora? Which I can understand the fact that Disney partially owns Sora, which makes his chances of probably make him least likely to get in, but people would go crazy for Sora, and I think that would definitely complete the roster in my opinion. So that's how I feel about the roster myself. So that is all, guys. Did you like my roster? If you have any changes or any other characters you want to see in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, be sure to comment below and subscribe for more onto this channel. If you enjoy Super Smash Bros. Content or WWE content, which I'll be willing to do 32K19 in the future as well, and also some retro live streams and such. But that is all, guys. Have a great day, great night, when you guys are chilling, stuff like that, and peace.